Hello, you're watching Indonesia Highlights. Ahead of next year's ASEAN Economic Community, stakeholders discussed its direction and the region's preparedness at the Economist Southeast Asia Summit on Wednesday in Jakarta.
The first of its kind, the summit was attended by 160 delegates from governments, business and media that focused on forming the economic integration by 2015. Malaysia's Minister without portfolio, Datuk Seri Idris Jalla, and private sector co-chairman of the Philippines National Competitiveness Council, Guillermo Luz, were keynote speakers at the one-day event. Jalla, who believes strongly in the AEC, says the key to a successful integration is an honest self-assessment from each country.
We're a few months away from 2015. My suggestion is that as an ASEAN, as a community, all the member countries need to do a good stock-taking assessment in 2015. That means to check against where we said we would like to be in 2015, make an assessment. Where are we vis-a-vis that? And do it in a very honest assessment. Once we know the gaps, then we should ask the question, what do we do with those gaps? And which are the gaps that we intend to close? And how do we go about closing them? Which are the gaps that we do not intend to close because of the tensions between country interests as well as the interests of the ASEAN community.
Amid some domestic woes and new president sworn in on October 20th, Jalla stated his optimism of Indonesia's role in leading the integration.
And I do believe that if you can find a way how to get focus on a few activities that Indonesia have the strength on, and leveraging the opportunities that exist within the ASEAN economic community, then I think Indonesia has a very big opportunity. You got the biggest market here, and they got the most populous member in ASEAN. And so I think Indonesia has a great opportunity to take a leadership role.
Idris Jalla was not the only one that brought a positive outlook on integration to the summit. Charlie Ma, Chief Executive of Deloitte Southeast Asia, says Indonesia is among the most prepared countries for the integrated community.
So, just to give you a sense, if you look at Indonesia's preparation for AEC 2015, well, there are a number of things that you have to do, and AEC has a scorecard, and they keep track of the achievement of the targets by each of the member states. And Indonesia is sitting at 77% achievement at the moment, which is above the average, which is at 70%.
The ASEAN Economic Community will form a market of over 600 million people, allow a freer flow of skilled labor, services, investment and goods among the 10 ASEAN member states and create around 14 million new jobs. Shinta Wijaya Kamdani, Sintesa Group Chief Executive, noted a lack of socialization and said information about the AEC was not reaching stakeholders evenly.
If we look at 55% of respondents in ASEAN countries said they were not aware of AEC. And that number is even worse for Indonesia, that said 77% said they don't know AEC. Okay? Only 23% of respondents said they have taken advantage of tariff reduction. And there were 13% that used the investment liberalization. So it's very far off.
No doubt, education about integration plays a very important role.
Of course, the governments are fully aware of it, and they're obviously very supportive. The corporates, I think it is patchy. Some who have more regional operations understand the implications, whilst others, particularly the small and medium-sized enterprise, don't have an appreciation at all for AEC 2015. So I think we've got to go through an education process. There's going to be a lot more education, there's got to be a lot more publicity and educating people what it means and so on, particularly for the small, medium-sized enterprises.
The AEC remains a risk to some and a boon for others. Some nations are struggling to get themselves ready. But an economy with 600 million people, among the largest in the world, is quite a prize to offer, and an offer very hard to refuse. Florence Armain, Mustika Hapsoro, Berita 1 English, Jakarta.